What do surfing, Bitcoin, and one of the safest countries in all of Latin America have in common? For me, it all came together during 4 unforgettable days in El Salvador. What's going on, family and friends? The boys are back. This time we took a trip down to El Salvador for 4 days of surfing, adventuring, and creating a little content for Tangent. We heard incredible things about this country, but never experienced it for ourselves. So this was our chance to see what El Salvador was all about. Our trip started with the late night flight out of LAX. After the traditional pre-flight beers and hauling way too many surfboards through the airport, we boarded an overnight Avianca flight bound for El Salvador. 5 hours later, we landed just before sunrise. Waiting for us was our guide Ricardo, who became much more than our driver over the next few days.
So there's a lot of different breaks around. Some like bigger swells, some like smaller swells. But there's a good amount of breaks at La Libertad. Then we go to the travel east, where we are is pretty much beach break.
Before we even checked into the hotel, he took us straight to the coastline, and that's when we knew this trip was going to be special. We spent the first half of our trip at Ricardo's beautiful Punta Mango hotel on the eastern side of the country. Every morning started the same way. Wake up before sunrise, throw on the goofy surf hats, wax the boards, and paddle out before most people were even awake. The waves were absolutely incredible. Here's Adam going backside, wha-pow! And so were the sunrises. Long right-handed point breaks, warm tropical water, beautiful scenery, and surprisingly, few people were in the lineup. It honestly felt like surfing a postcard. The food was phenomenal. Fresh fish tacos, breakfast burritos, chimichurri steaks, local coffee, ice-cold Supremas, everything was included. Even the occasional scorpion hiding in the room. Yo, yo! Thankfully, we caught him before bedtime. We also got incredibly lucky with the local photographers flying their drones, documenting nearly every surf session. The footage speaks for itself. Something that surprised me wasn't just the waves, it was the countryside. For years, El Salvador carried a reputation that kept many travelers away. Today, you see something completely different. Investment is booming, tourism continues to grow, the surf community is thriving. Everywhere we went, we met friendly people who were proud to share their country. Es bien. Me gusto. Mucho gusto. ¿Canta más? ¿O toca más?
Ah, está bien. Una ranchera.
Ok.
De México.
Oh, bueno. Gracias, gracias
Bueno,
amigos.
bueno, bueno.
Yo soy mexicano también.
Mexicano.
Sí,
¿Sí?
un poquito.
¿De dónde tú eres?
Estados Unidos, pero mis bisabuelos de México, Jalisco.
¿Sí?
Sí, 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 sí.
¿Pero hablas bien español?
It's okay, it's okay.
¿De qué parte de Estados Unidos vienes?
Southern California, California Sur.
Ah, yo conocí La Joya.
¿Oh, La Joya?
Sí.
Oh, sí, es
Con
muy
los
bonita.
surfistas.
Yes, muy bonita.
Con los surfistas.
Oh, sí.
Ay, ese es un sitio de solo surfistas.
¿Sufriar?
Ya no.
Un poquito pasado.
Amo el surf.
No.
Amo.
Oh, amo surf.
Amo el surf,
Sí.
pero yo no surfeo.
Yeah.
Ya estoy muy viejo.
Oh,
¿Te están esperando?
eres más joven. Gracias, amigos. Gracias, gracias.
Gracias por la compañía.
Whether it was surfers arriving by motorcycle, fishing boats heading out at sunrise, or horses and cows casually roaming alongside the road, everything felt authentic. It was almost like stepping into a National Geographic documentary. Check out my exclusive interview with our El Salvadorian surf guide, hotel owner, and dear friend, Ricardo. Ricardo! What's going on, family and friends? Ray Fuentes here. We're in El Salvador at the Punta Mango Hotel. I'm standing next to the owner, Ricardo Rivas. So this is an exclusive event. And for those that are surfer enthusiasts, we've got the world-class break, Punta Mango break right behind us. So again, this is an exclusive interview. Ricardo, how you doing today, sir?
How you doing, Ray? Welcome everyone to El Salvador and especially to Punta Mango and Hotel Los Mangos. This is a small hotel with 11 rooms that welcomes people from around the world especially to enjoy the world-class break that we have behind us. It's called Punta Mango, and you have tried those waves yourself, and you know that are they any good?
Oh.
Tell the audience how you like.
They're amazing. It's an easy pop-up, long rides. Depending on high tide or low tide, really can impact the energy of the wave. But since we were surfing at 5 in the morning at first light at a low tide, I mean, the waves were peeling awesome. And Ricardo is so much more than the owner of this hotel. He's a surf guide. He's taken us around and just showing us all of what El Salvador has to offer. Some that many people know very well, and some breaks that are secretive. So again, Ricardo, thank you for showing us around. Now, what inspired you to open up this hotel right here in El Salvador?
Well, it was just being able to have a place to stay here at Punta Mango and have nice accommodations and good food right out the door of Punta Mango. Basically, surfing brought us here. We've been here for 14 years with this hotel, and proudly being able to provide work for the community and share this experience with people all around the world, surfer and non-surfers.
Yeah.
This place, even if you're not a surfer, you just come to enjoy the ocean. It's a beautiful place to come.
There's more than surfers. You have even local families that are coming from just over the mountains. So it's really great to see that you have created not just an access point for international, but you're really catering to your local community as well.
Yes, that's correct. We were lucky enough to be the first ones to open any accommodation venue on this side of the country. Our nearest neighbor was around 9 kilometers when we opened. Wow. And we had started with 6 rooms, and we have grown to 11. But we have also diversified with the people. Salvadorians have learned that we are here and that it's really close to their cities, and we have families coming from the States as well. First, second generation Salvadorians living abroad from probably California or all over the place and around the world. They're coming here and they're meeting up and watching and learning about their country for the first time. And that's also exciting to be part of that welcoming feeling that we want to have for everyone.
There's a lot going on in El Salvador. A lot of attraction, maybe because of Bitcoin, maybe because of the waves, maybe just because of the overall great community and culture, or the opportunity with real estate investments. So there's a lot going on in this country. And again, I really thank you for sharing your time with me. I do have to give you kudos, Ricardo. You're a phenomenal surfer, but in a land of rights, you're going backside.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get the memo. I just started going goofy foot since I can remember. But we manage around.
For those in the audience that would like to learn more about Punta Mango, I'll be sure to copy the links in the comments and descriptions below. They also do have Surfline cams connected to this hotel as well. So if you want to check out the breaks for yourself, go check out Surfline as well. And I believe it's Punta Mango Break.
We're on Instagram. We are at Hotel Punta Mango. And the name of the hotel is Los Mangos Hotel. You'll be welcome. Come visit.
From Punta Mango, we made our way west to Punta Roca. Coincidentally, the World Surf League, the WSL, had just wrapped up their competition there. By waiting until after the competition, we were rewarded with world-class waves without the crowds. Morning sessions, evening glass-offs, 2, sometimes 3 surf sessions a day. It doesn't get much better than that. One thing I wasn't expecting, the water. It was hot. For the first time in my life, I actually found myself wishing for colder water after some of those long paddle outs. Not something I ever thought I'd say. Regardless, the waves were pumping, we timed the swell perfectly, and managed to sneak in a few green rooms in Central America. Yo yo! Whoopash! Whoopow! Yeah! Whoop-huh! Before flying home, Miles and I spent our final afternoon exploring San Salvador with our guide Oscar. Sponsored by Knightsbridge Wealth Management, the RIA out of Newport Beach. Check them out for asymmetric opportunities, not financial advice. From the moment we met, it was clear Oscar wasn't just giving us a tour, he was proudly sharing his culture, his country, and his past experiences.
I'm almost 60, and I lived during the time of uncertainty. We had a civil war for about 12 years, from 1979 to 1992. And during my childhood and my teenage years, I was pretty much sheltered. I couldn't go nowhere. And I have to leave El Salvador because I had 2 choices when I was 17. Either to join the army, in which probably I would have, because my family is a military family, mm-hmm. and I would ended up on the side of the army, or I would have been snatched by the guerrilla and be taken to Nicaragua or Cuba and being trained to be a guerrilla fighter. Wow. So my family didn't want to have me doing neither of that, because we just had lost my cousin, which he was like a brother to me. He was a lieutenant in the El Salvadorian army, and he just had been killed in an ambush. So we mourned his loss, and my parents said, "You're not going to be another casualty of war. You're going to San Francisco, California with your sister." Things that I have actually experienced here in El Salvador, especially now that we live in a time of tranquility, peace, and security, something that we haven't had in 500 years, ever since we were actually conquered by the Spaniards, uh-huh. is that peace and tranquility. I want to call it the simple pleasures of life that money cannot buy. The biggest thing about El Salvador is not itself the country, like the territory, the beauty and all that, but to me, the biggest asset and the biggest treasure that we Salvadorians have here in El Salvador is just like the original name of the territory calls it. We were called by our ancestors, the Mayans, the Pipiles that used to live in this area, the Nahuas, they used to call this area Cuscatán. And Cuscatán means the place of the jewels, the precious jewels. For me, the way I actually understand this sacred name of Cuscatán is that the greatest jewel that this territory has is not diamonds, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's not precious gems, it's the people.
His enthusiasm was contagious. He walked us through the historic city center, introduced us to architecture, history, and local traditions, and even helped me track down a silver coin dealer on a Sunday, which turned out to be much harder than expected. The entire country seemed to be on pause as people gathered to watch the World Cup matches taking place all around the world. Despite nearly everything being closed, Oscar never stopped searching until we found exactly what I was looking for. But one of my favorite moments happened completely by accident. As we were walking through downtown, a local named Eduardo spotted my I Love XRP t-shirt and yelled, "XRP to the moon!" I had to stop and interview the man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're walking the streets here in San Salvador, and I just got the XRP to the moon by, your name is?
Eduardo.
Eduardo. How do you know about XRP?
Well, I've been into crypto since like 2017, I guess. Currently I'm holding my Ripple, my XRP for, I think 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
What type of impact do you think crypto or digital currencies or a digital asset like XRP could have on El Salvador?
I think it's a very good technology. It's very good for just alternative investments, but not only that, but mostly for transactional purposes. I think it's very good. It's Bitcoin and the Lightning Network makes everything faster, and Bitcoin is a legal tender here. I would say, unfortunately, El Salvador is still a little behind on technology reception, like how people learn to use the technology. We have people here that barely know how to connect their phones to Wi-Fi, right? So it'll probably take some time, but it's good that it's, among young people, it's an option, it's available.
So no doubt that XRP is going to the moon.
No doubt. It'll go eventually. It'll definitely, go, but, hopefully sooner rather than later. But no matter when, it'll happen.
Moments like that are impossible to script. It's a reminder that the XRP community is truly global. No matter where you travel, you're likely to meet people who share the same excitement about the future of digital assets. We wrapped up the afternoon with authentic Salvadorian coffee, explored local markets, visited the National Palace, and gained a deeper appreciation for how much El Salvador has changed over recent years. It was the perfect way to end an unforgettable adventure. So the El Salvadorian peso was used, what was used before the peso?
The peso, well, that was the main currency in the past for the complete country.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, and then they changed to be, passed to be the colon and then the dollar.
And then Bitcoin.
And the Bitcoin as well. Yes.
As many of you know, I was also creating content for Tangem during the trip. El Salvador became the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Although the law has since evolved, digital assets remain an important part of the conversation. It was a perfect opportunity to demonstrate purchasing with USDC using Tangem Pay, showing how self-custody and digital payments can fit into everyday travel. Welcome to La Libertad, El Salvador, home to El Zonte, better known around the world as Bitcoin Beach. This small surf town became ground zero for one of the most ambitious monetary experiments in modern history. From the colon to the US dollar to Bitcoin, few places have witnessed the evolution of money quite like this. But history is one thing, real-world utility is another. So today, we're putting Tangem Pay to the test. Connected to my Apple Pay, let's see what it can do in the real world. For years, people have debated whether crypto could be used for everyday purchases. Here in El Salvador, I don't have to debate it, I can simply use it. Let's go grab a drink using Tangem Pay. Una café con leche?
Americano con leche o latte.
Latte, gracias. Okay, perfecto. Using Tangem Pay. Just a few days ago, I walked into a Best Buy in Southern California and picked up a Tangem wallet off the shelf. Today I'm sitting in El Salvador using Tangent Pay in one of the most iconic crypto communities in the world. That's a pretty remarkable journey. Not because of the technology, but because of what it represents. The gap between digital assets and everyday commerce is disappearing in real time. Whether you're interested in Bitcoin, stablecoins, or simply taking ownership of your financial future, one thing is becoming extremely clear. Self-custody is no longer a niche concept. It's becoming accessible to everyone. Technology is changing how we move money around the world, and experiencing that firsthand made this trip even more meaningful. Trips like this remind me why I love what I do. Getting to travel, explore new cultures, meet incredible people, surf world-class waves, and tell stories along the way. A huge thank you to Alex, Adam, Miles, Ricardo, Oscar, and everyone at Waterways Travel for making this experience unforgettable. From the world-class waves and incredible food to the warmth and generosity of the Salvadorian people, this trip reminded me that the best adventures are about so much more than the destination. They're about the people you meet along the way. El Salvador exceeded every one of my expectations, and I can't wait to come back. If El Salvador isn't on your travel list, I hope this video inspires you to take a closer look. We'll definitely be back. Until next time, love you mucho.